Okay, so it's Central Texas, and look, we got a sunny day. That's not 28 degrees out. Yeah, we got rid of our 2 weeks of winter already, but that was hopefully the last freeze. So we are going to put up an above ground planter and hopefully plant a garden, a little tiny one. But we're going to put it over there against the fence because everything that I've read says you need to protect your plants against the south and the west because that's where the sun will burn them the most. But I went over to Lowe's and I bought these two items here. You can see them. That's the Sta Green metal raised garden bed. So I'm going to attach the two of them, so they should be somewhere around 3.5 feet wide by about 5 or 6 feet long, I think. So well, anyway, we'll get those two put together and see if that's long enough, and if not, we'll get a third one and attach it. Again, these are called Sta Green, S-T-A Green, and you can get these at Lowe's. They were about 50 bucks a piece. Not cheap, but hopefully they'll stand up. Look, I got bees flying around already. Holy cow. But here we go. When you take it out of the box, don't be freaked out. So you've got 4 of the aluminum walls, and only one of them has the arrow pointing up. So just remember, right there is the arrow pointing up. But the big curled over lip goes on the top for all the pieces. So I don't know why it only tells you on one of them, but I guess it figures you're smart enough to know. And then don't freak out when you see only 3 of the cross braces that go on it to help, you know, hold it together with all that dirt and stuff in the center of it, because every picture shows 4 of those because they go in making an X. But when you look right here, it tells you only have 3. So for a minute there, I thought I was going to have to take it back. Okay, just to be specific here, and I know this is common sense, but when you're putting this together, the edge goes on the outside, the side goes on the inside, and then there's a screw and a nut. If you look, there's two different kinds of nuts here. This one has the built-in washer on it. That's what you're using to put the sides together with. Okay, so I'm just going to put 2 sides together hand tight, and then I'll tighten them up after I get everything together. It comes with this little wrench, open end on one side, close end on the other. I wouldn't make this any tougher than it needs to be. This is metal, so you don't really have to worry about hurting it that much unless you bend it. I'm going to use my cordless screwdriver and then the closed end to just tighten and snug up these nuts and bolts, but don't crank down on them, obviously. It should be simple. So yeah, we're just going to snug them up. Dropped my phone. There's a blooper for you. Let's try this again. How about that? There we go. Cordless drill. We're going to use the other. Just snug like that. See if I can get this one. There we go. There's this one right on top. You can't see it, it's out of focus. Right there, but just snug them up. Okay, so here it is. I've got it in a U shape. That's 3 of the walls put together. And I was talking about the lip on it. Just remember, this lip is a big lip versus that one is a small flat one. This one's U-shaped. If you can see, it's U-shaped. This one is L-shaped. The bottom one's L-shaped. These nuts and bolts go on you can almost hand tighten them. I use that little wrench and a cordless screwdriver. But yeah, that's it so far. Pretty much 1/3 of the way. That took like 5 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to put the other piece on to the exact same shape, so that it's going to be 2 boxes together, so it's going to be one big rectangle. So instead of, see if I can point this out to you, instead of putting this on at a corner, I'm going to put it on flat, and then the next piece will go on to the end of that. So I'm going to make 2 U shapes. I'm going to finish up the other one like this, and then this also in the middle is where our cross beams and braces are going to go. All right, one thing I forgot to mention, check all your pieces, especially your long straight side pieces, and make sure none of them have dents or ripples in them or bumps, because it'll make it a little shorter than everything else. So we're getting ready to take this, let's see, we're getting ready to take this thing over and put it where it's going to be, and then I'm going to attach the 2 U shapes, if you can see them. I'm going to attach them with the 2 long spaces in the middle, so it'll make this thing about, I'm hoping it'll make it about 8 feet or 6 feet tall. Anyway, we'll see what happens here in a minute. I can't remember the dimensions, but we're gonna give it a shot. So if this wasn't clear before, let me pick up one of these braces and I'm gonna show you. So this is the other side. My first side I've got put over there right now. So I'm putting this side together and I'm using what would normally be the corner, but I'm using it as a flat connection to the other flat side over there. So my two U shapes are gonna get bolted together using this, but I also have to put in the cross member. So I'm gonna put the cross members in here while I'm doing this, and then and then put them, then take it over there and put them together. But the cross member, just gonna go in with the same bolt. I'm just gonna put it in. I hope you can see this, that's upside down, but let me do this. I'm gonna flip the camera around. Hopefully this works. I'm putting it on like that, and then I'm just gonna put the nut on top of it. So my fingers, my fat fingers are in the way. Whoop. Hopefully you can see some of this. I keep dropping it and it keeps sliding down the brace like a ramp, but hopefully you can see that. Let's pull it back some. How about that? So yes, I'm just gonna hand tighten it. It's gonna go like that. It's gonna go to the bottom of the other one over there. So they're gonna be shaped like an X. The one on the top on this side is gonna go to the bottom. The one on the bottom on this side is gonna go to the top on that side. So I'll show you when I'm done what it looks like. Here's something very important for you because you've got two bolts here. This one you've already got a bolt in and you're bracketing the cross beam to. And then you've got this one, where is it? This one right here, let me back it up. This one right here that's going to bolt to the other piece over there. So when you put this bracket on, be very careful and make sure it's turned this way. Don't turn it that way or it's gonna block you bolting it back in. So make sure it's turned to the inside, okay? So when you look at it, it's an L shape like that, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. I'll show you when I'm done. So this is what one side should look like when you're done with it. You can see over here, I've got the flat connection, and on that side, I've got the flat connection, and I've put the cross beams on there to keep it, because remember, when you fill this thing with dirt, it's gonna push out on it. So put them all on hand tight, and they're gonna fight you a little bit. Don't worry about that. Once you get them all in, and once you get that center nut and bolt put in right there to attach those two together, then tighten everything else up, and you'll feel how solid it is. But don't worry about it. If it fights you, you got to force it a little bit. Don't bend anything. But once you get that nut in the center on there, then tighten the other four up, and you're good to go. I'm going to carry this over there in a second. Ooh, I had to change shirts. I had to put on a short sleeve shirt. It's a little warm out here now. It feels great though, compared to the last week or so with it being in the 20s. But I'm gonna carry these other pieces over there and I'm gonna mock it up so you can see what it looks like before I tighten everything up. But it's gonna be a pretty good sized bed. I'm gonna put those two pieces and the two more braces on. You will have two braces left over. Don't worry about that. These are two separate squares put together to make a rectangle. So you're gonna have a couple of pieces left over. You're gonna have some screws and washers and nuts left over as well. All right, just so you can see, I've got it mocked up. That's how long it's gonna be. I gotta put two braces over there and two cross beams, and then I gotta attach these middle parts on each side. So yeah, I'm about 20 minutes into this so far. Not that bad. Okay, we're down to the last two bolts right there. And what you can see, I'm gonna back up here a little bit. This is what I've got. So it's really imperative when I put these two in, these two cross members, I did not tighten them down all the way so I have some room to work. Because you're gonna need to force and finagle this a little bit. Obviously it's sheet metal, it's aluminum. But just kind of walk around and kind of make sure your angles are at angles, your sides are as straight as they can be. And then we're gonna put these last two bolts in and show you what it looks like. So like I said, since we're attaching two of them, there's a couple leftover pieces, mostly nuts and bolts and some plastic nut caps on the ends. Those two braces. But here we go. The next thing I'm gonna do, I didn't show you this, but where the holes are, the plastic caps go in like right there. Fill those up so that way when you fill this thing with dirt, the dirt doesn't come running out, right? So I'll get this filled with garden soil after I turn up that ground a little bit and get the daisies and stuff out of it, because I don't think they'll come poking up through, but I'm not taking a chance. I will not use any kind of weed killer at all. I don't want that around my garden, but yep, that's it. So I hope you learned something. I hope it helped you out a little bit. I will say that making sure you don't tighten all the bolts before you get a side finished. After you got everything in on one U shape, you can tighten all your bolts. You do have to force a couple of those cross members, but they're just aluminum, so just don't bend them. Just, you know, you have to force them in there a little bit. It's snug, but that thing is solid now. And the next videos will probably be planting. Then the next videos will be getting our first sprouts, harvesting, and then my mother, the queen of canning some stuff. So stay tuned. Hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up. Catch you on the next one.